sometimes we can think about God in terms of he's vengeful and spiteful and nasty. That is not true in the Old Testament, and it's not true in the New Testament. All through the Bible, we find God in his grace demonstrating tremendous love, incredible patience to people who are quite wayward. In John's Gospel, chapter 3, we find Jesus speaking, and they're very striking, very memorable words. I don't know whether you've ever been to a football match where somebody's held up a placard and it says John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." But that same passage, if you read on in John's Gospel, says, "This is the condemnation, that light has come into the world, but men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil." Is God, who is a God of love, is God able to send people to hell? Actually, when we think about this and we really consider love and justice going together, it would not be an act of love if God just overlooked all the rottenness and the terrors of the world's history and said, "Oh, it doesn't matter, just welcome everybody to my home." No, God is a God who must punish, must judge sin. Now, he's provided a way out for those who will trust him, because Jesus came into the world to go to the cross and carry on himself the sin of the world. And if we trust him, there's forgiveness. No matter what we've done, how we've been, no matter how bad we've been. Wonderful thing is God could not love us anymore. Jesus has gone to the cross and died for us. But what about the person who says, "Well, I've lived my life and I will not trust Jesus Christ"? And there are folk like that who suppress the whole idea of God and forgiveness and Christ and just, they set their face against him. Well, God has no alternative but for there to be judgment. And God being an absolutely holy, infinite, eternal God, the punishment is one that is just and infinite, eternal. To be cut off from God, to be lost, to be without hope, without Christ for all eternity is a dreadful thought. And yet Jesus spoke about heaven and about hell. He loved and therefore he warned. When my children were little and they used to come home from school and I'd been working, I may just have said to one of them, "Do you mind just running to the post box and just popping these letters in the letterbox, please? And be careful of the road." Now, it's only a small road, but I loved them and I didn't want them just to run out and face an accident. I loved and therefore I warned. And Jesus, who loves us so much, has warned us. And warned us that it's vitally important that while we have a mind and a heart, while we're open to God speaking to us, we turn from all that is wrong and trust Jesus Christ. And as soon as we do, he gives us eternal life. And one day it will blossom into a much greater way than we could ever understand, to be with him forever. To be lost is dreadful, but Jesus came to seek and to save those who are lost. So I really would urge you to trust him and ask him to make you his forever.